But my mother have always been there, I think, since she was young. She gave birth to me when she was 14, and she has always been there. So I had an opportunity to hear what people say about me.
Sure.
And from that time, I hated to be famous because people knows and talk about what they don't know. Being firstborn, there's no one who's there say you're doing well. Yeah, no. And sometimes we are too humble.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nonhlanhla Nxele. Welcome to episode number 2, to A Space to Breathe. Today, we have a lovely guest here, William. I won't take the platform to introduce him, but just to remind you of this space or this channel. It is a space to breathe. This is a platform for us to inspire widows, to get them to find their purpose again, to empower them, to advise them, to help them navigate the complexity of life that they are going through. If you remember on my previous episode, I spoke about the unwanted title being called a widow. So I would like to take this opportunity to remind you this is a space to breathe, a space where we are there to take care and support each other as widows. William, welcome to A Space to Breathe. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. So now in Nonhlanhla.
I'm great, thanks. I'm not going to take the platform to introduce you. I want you to introduce yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
My name is William Sebelebele.
Yes.
I am a son of Michael and Onika Sebelebele, and they are both late now. I am an advisor, personal advisor and business advisor. I am a business coach and an executive coach. And I like to believe that I'm an insurance expert, but, but probably long-term and micro-insurance.
Yes.
Yeah, that's something that I think I must be comfortable with.
Yes.
Because of, I am an expert for
You're
sure.
an expert.
Yes.
That is our industry, right?
Yes.
I think maybe some other time we will have a session around this insurance talk. But for today, it's about you. And one of the things, what you said earlier on, you spoke about both your parents being late. Tell me more about that.
You say space to breathe.
Yes.
I think I really needed this. I really needed space to breathe.
Yes.
So my father has never been more involved with my life, in my life. But as a boy or as a man, you normally want to look at somebody whom you can look up to. Whether whatever he did, what happened, eventually most of young men, when they start of being age of accountability, they always try to look into their father's life so that they can understand themselves. But my mother have always been there, I think, since she was young. She gave birth to me when she was 14, and she has always been there.
Sure.
Yeah. So for now, I think it's more of, I'll say regret because of we sometimes let the challenges of life, and then with those whom we love, especially my mother, you look at her with a judging eye, right? Not knowing what she has experienced, what she have came across, and then you want a perfect life. But at the end of the day, no one is perfect. So I think that's...
No one is perfect.
No one is perfect.
No one is perfect. And that is one of the things that personally through this widow journey that I'm in, it had to teach me that. I'm one of those people that I believe that I was a perfectionist, in everything that I did, that I touched was perfect. But after losing my husband with certain challenges that I had to experience, I realized that life is not perfect.
Actually, there is perfect in imperfection.
I like that though. Yes. If even though I'm still processing that, it's still gonna take time for me to absorb that. But I just want to come to this part where you spoke about the men that you are today. The men that you are today. Tell me about that journey. What happened? How much of your past had shaped you?
I think before I do that, I should recommend you
Yes.
or commend, English, ne?
Yes.
Of saying
It's not our mother's tongue, so
no, it's not.
okay.
So I really, as a friend, I respect you because of I've never experienced what you have experienced. I've only lost parents, right? But for you being able to stand up while you are still in grieving period and do what you do, I think that's recommendable.
Thank you.
Yes. And the question about the man that I am today, what was the question again?
I'm asking you to say, looking at the man that you are today, looking at your past, what really shaped you to be the man that you are today?
I think we all know natural resources like gold, diamond, and everything. They only start shining or being beautiful after they've went through hardships. And I think my past have shaped who I am. And at the end of the day, they say once you start having everything, what do you then live for? For me, I think my purpose was mainly my purpose is mainly to correct or contribute what I have experienced.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what have made me who I am.
And where do you find the strength to keep going? Because, you lost your parents at a very young age.
Poverty. Yeah, I think when you're hungry, they say if you see an hungry man, they can do everything. So I think, and so I've been, when I grew up, I was surrounded by poverty.
Yeah.
And then I had to say something has to change. And it has to change by me or it end with me. And I made a decision of saying, anyone who comes after me shouldn't experience what I've experienced. And therefore, I then decided to say I'll do whatever it takes to run away from poverty.
Sure.
And what really helped me is to say within the environment or the situation that I'm in, I need to... Have you ever lived in any situation but your mind is somewhere else?
Sure.
So, for example, if we can go to...
like maybe I think we might just unpack just a little of that.
Yes.
Because when you're telling me that you were here, but your mind was somewhere else,
Yes.
you're trying to tell me that you were present, but your mind was in the future.
I think I'm a dreamer.
Oh,
We are the dreamer. So I'm that guy. Yeah, I'm that guy who can, as we sit now, we can start talking about stories and say, do you know Paris? Let's go to it.
You get there right now.
We go Paris now.
Yeah,
And then
there.
the emotions and everything, I think it's more of the mind. And your thoughts, they generally create what you experience. They create emotions and feelings. You become happy. And I think that is what has sustained me in terms of, despite where I was, I've never seen myself within that environment. Even if I was surrounded by poverty, I've never seen myself like that. Even if everyone saw me as somebody who's poor, I have never saw myself like that. But that I should give credit to my mother.
Yeah.
Because she said you should not look like a problem. Yeah. If there is no food at home, it's only maize meal, you must like take that porridge and put water and eat it. And therefore bath. And then whether it's varskeres, whether it's
whatever it is that is there.
Whatever it is, then apply to a body and shine and so that people must not look at your problem and see your problem.
Sure. That story is actually making me emotional. So, emotional wreck lately, but it's okay because I can relate to that story. And maybe I can just come in there and say, at a very young age, my mom also taught me some similar principles where she would say that people must not see your problems written on your forehead. Whatever you are carrying in your heart, whatever you are carrying in your spirit, people must not see it. When you walk out of your house, make sure that you've put up that makeup, make sure that you've dressed up accordingly so that people must not see it. And I think with that on its own, that's one of the things personally that has found me to be here, that I'm in a mourning period, but I don't want people to see it. It's only said because I have to wear accordingly because of the period that I'm in. But should it be that you did not know, then you were not going to know because I was not going to walk with it. But the mourning is in my heart, is in my spirit, and I carry with it every single day. So with that being said, you,
Can I disturb you?
yes,
Ono?
please.
You used a word that doesn't sit well with me. You said you
what
are
is-
emotional wreck right now.
And, I'm talking about now because I'm going through a period right now.
Yes, emotionally, yes, you might be hurt or broken, but that doesn't define who you are. And you should never ever confess it with your mouth and call yourself
The
that.
power of the mouth, right?
Yes.
Amen to that. And I love it because that's one of the mottos as well, to say you must be careful of what you speak. Because whatever we speak, whoever believes in the universe will say that the universe will make it happen. If you believe in God, you'll say God will make it happen.
And heaven and earth. They say
Heaven and earth is
today I behave like a pastor and I'm not. So heaven and earth was created by the words, what you say.
This is a platform to breathe.
Okay.
So you must be as free as possible.
Okay.
Be William. I want William.
I'll take off the jacket
And-
if
and-
you call
and-
me.
And if Burutu ba tlhahella, it's okay. Let the Burutu ba tlhahella, because that defines who William is at this point in time. And I would like to believe that journey did kind of like contribute from where you come from to be where you are. And I think if I remember, once we had a meeting, I think a week ago, and you said you are in a journey where you are now allowing God to take over and to lead you. And I think probably you can share more about that, because I think now that you are wearing Dabaya jacket or stage, can you just maybe go through that with me?
Yeah, I think, we have dreams and plans, and sometimes we overplan and overthink. At the end of the day, we have this illusion of control. And once you want to control everything and everyone. At the end of the day, it kills you. Because, to be honest, I think we only apply principles. I'll give an example. If you are involved in an accident or hurt, they'll take you to hospital.
Yes.
What the doctor will do, they'll clean and apply what they need to and patch up. At the end of the day, you must let the process flow. Right? And therefore, you're not a healer. You're not, even if you're a doctor, you're just trusted with the principles and basic to do that. And God, or you say creation or the universe, take its course. Therefore, I then sat down and realized that in my life, I don't like titles, especially in terms of pastor, and I'm not, because of I have my own things. The way I grew up,
I like that.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Yes, and actually, the word "tsotsi" is loosely, we use it wrong because of it's somebody who's smart. You go to prison, people who are there, the most smartest people, because of their reasons, they've turned to criminality, which is wrong, because of then you hurt another person.
Yes.
Right? So, in the street, they'll say, "Oh, get clever," right? But
Is that the tech name or not?
No,
What
no,
was
no.
the tech name though? I mean, how I'm sure through the journey that you've been talking about.
I think I've lived amongst people who do a lot of things. I've had many nicknames and titles. I've done almost everything. I've played on my dice. I've sold stuff, but I was always doing it in the right way. So whether it's in Motlakatlakane, right? But then I'll then do what is right in that environment. Yeah. So I think I will prefer to be seen as a leader, but more especially a servant leader. Yeah, because I'm not one person who can issue orders. One thing I know, I can follow like a woman, take orders without asking questions.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it's my time to lead, I lead like a man.
Yes.
I need to find balance, because I was raised by a woman.
Yes.
When she tells you whatever she tells you, you don't answer back. And
Because you know what will happen.
yes, but inside I've always been a man, because of I'm always fighting with my father because of he was not present. But what does that do? If you are being raised by a woman, it's especially a woman who's then was still a child, and she had no one. She had no one to take care of her. She will then understand. I think she have protected me in a sense of saying it was hard then. She will say, William, I'm going to raise you so that if anything happens to me, you must be able to do what I can do. If she feeds the kids, if she cooks, I cook with her. And it was not easy because there was no time for error, right? And her dealing with whatever she's dealing, also teaching me from point of fear, I think that made me to grow up quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that being said, was there any stigma around around the environment to say that you're growing up in an environment where you say it's a poor environment, you're supposed to be now tagging along mama, I get it's mama's boy and all of those things. How did that affect you? Was there any stigma that you had to deal with, having to lose as well, the fact that you also lost your parents at a very young age?
No, I think I lost my... Thank God. I only lost my mother when I was old. I was married already.
You were married already? Okay.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Okay.
I didn't have much time to spend with her. You know, when you're emotional and everything.
Okay.
But coming back to your stigma, I'm one person you can say whatever you say about me. I normally don't listen, right?
What do you mean you don't listen?
I think there's, if you start looking into, if you go back, check how you grew up, you'll then realize you were prepared by something. You were prepared for something. So I'll tell you a story. The story is, I was one day in a taxi, and in a taxi they were talking about certain individual, William. Now, you know, Basadi, women when they're in a taxi, they speak. And they were, so they were talking about this child who's working at the tavern, who doesn't sometimes seems to be disrespectful because he thinks he's a man, he can answer for himself. And sometimes they didn't even want their girl child to be close to him because of he was a child, but he would be able to talk with girls. And, you know, only to realize that William was in the taxi.
Oh, no.
And most of them, they didn't know, they only knew the name. And then as I was about to climb off, one lady says, William, therefore are you here? So I had an opportunity to hear what people say about me.
Sure.
And from that time, I hated to be famous because people knows and talk about what they don't know. And that's one thing that made me to learning to close ears.
To block your ears,
Everyone has their own opinion. And especially when we don't have an opportunity to look at ourselves, we run away and start looking at others. So yeah, I think that's one of the things that I'll call it a pain and stigma. But whatever you called me,
yeah,
I once said something I didn't understand and say.
Yeah.
I said the world has treated me like a donkey, whereby everyone could hit as much as they like. But because I've made a decision to change my life, I didn't care. At the same time, it was not me only, it was my siblings. So I had to pull them. And then when they are donkeys, the one that get hidden is the one that is in front. But despite being treated like that, in my mind, I always seen myself as Pekwa, which is a falcon. I used to confuse it with an eagle, right? And yeah, so it doesn't matter the stigma, what they are saying about you is what matters is your thoughts in your mind. How do you see yourself and where you're going?
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, in closing, we're going to talk about where you're going because I know it's a beautiful journey, that where you're going. But for now, I just want to go into the space where you said your mom passed away when you were already older, and that was the only relationship really that you had, as much as you didn't like I wouldn't want to put. I don't know if I'm safe to say you hated your mom. Is that the word that you want to use?
No.
I'm happy that that's not the word because
no.
it was probably the anger.
I think.
What was it?
I think just like any other kids and any other family, we compare our parents. Say, oh, this one must do that. This one must do that. And I think one of the things that I owe to her is to make sure that her name doesn't die, she'll be remembered because of if I had to experience what she had experienced,
Sure,
it's going to be something. So you'll find it within a story. How did I perceive her? And I didn't understand only after she was late. Also, when I was still dealing with myself, also, shucks, actually, I don't think I'll have survived. She gave birth to me when she was 14 with no one. And she had to work with me and teach me whatever she has to teach me. At the same time, because of, women will find men lies, right? Will come and say, I love you. And so most of the time, I think, if I remember very well, there will be, while she was working with me, there will be guys who's coming and say, hey, Khadi, tabael. and then says, no, I've had you. What are you going to do for me? Right? And then they'll promise everything,
Yes.
right? Because
Yeah.
of whatever they wanted. And then give
Whatever that it
an
is.
opportunity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't work, she'll hold you accountable and say, you promise to say. And then at the same time, she'll also say, Ake you want,
Eish.
right? And then they'll say, "Ah, ko rata le yena." But then when you start being in relationship, they are in relationship, and then the man doesn't do what he promised. She then will end. But then I've realized the sacrifice she have made. She could have been married. She could have been, but lived a better life. But only I think she sacrificed for the fact that if a man doesn't love her children, then it won't work.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 3 siblings. We are 4.
And you are number?
1.
You're number 1.
Yes.
Oh, firstborn.
I'm firstborn.
Oh,
So
now I understand the responsibility that you had to carry.
Yes. So to say, I think it was more misunderstanding. I didn't understand. As a child, I thought as a child. And I grew up in a rough environment. I grew up in taverns. I've seen things, right? And then that makes you angry at the same time. But then I regret it of saying, instead of when I was old, I was supposed to show her more love. Yes, I have done what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Whether having our own home, she passed away in her own house. And then she was, I think I did that. I should give myself compliment of saying,
well done.
Despite my emotions and everything, my responsibility are always to them. And the only regret that I have is to have more pictures with her, go out and spend time with her, because of memories are the things that last forever.
Sure. And when you talk about memories, it's one of the things that I personally also regret, because my husband and I were very, I'll call myself, I will say busy, because we're both running our own businesses, and we are hustlers. We are hustlers. And he was always on the road, traveling between KZN and Joburg and all of those things. We really never got to create more memories, if I may put it. It was always about what is the next deal, what is the next opportunity, and so forth. I mean, the hustler's life. If you don't wake up in the morning, there's not going to be bread on the top of the table. So we're so consumed about that, we forgot to actually enjoy the marriage at the same time. And now I actually see how it has an impact on my child as well, to a point whereby she now specifically requested that, Mama, weekends you are no longer working. Like she was very specific about, she says, weekends you are no longer opening the laptop. It's going to be my time and nobody else. And I realized that I wish we had more of that, because even when I look at my phone, his folder does not have much photos. And I wish I had built up so many memories so that we have much photos, because my child's like, can we create an album? And I'm looking, I'm like, it's going to be maybe about 20 pictures that we can put in an album, because I'm like, I'm planning to print those memories. What are those memories that probably you wish you could have saved up? And do you have any album for yourself that probably you are able to show your children, to say, kukukiyo?
Yeah, that's something. We used to have pictures, but because of we never had a place to stay, I've always been moving there and there. I lost the album, most of the pictures, and I probably have 1 or 2 pictures with her. But memories beside pictures, I think I should have given an opportunity to experience. Remember when you grow in poverty, and you are surrounded by poverty, when things change, I think she was supposed to have an experience, the restaurant, Mother's Day,
all of
sleeping
those,
massages. If I did more of that, I think that would have been nice.
Sure. And were there any financial security that you had created, or she had created through her journey as you were growing up? Was there anything that she had created for you guys as his children, as her children?
No, there was nothing. I think if remember, we never had a home until I started working.
Sure.
She had never had an ID. no birth certificate. Same applies to me. And even when she died without them. Therefore, that means no policy.
Sure.
I'm calling myself an insurance expert, but when my mother died, there was only one policy that I took when I was employed. Right?
You must listen to the first episode about that one. It's got all of it.
Yeah, so
Trust me, I know.
the financials and the planning, no, we started from zero. Yeah, so no.
And what are you doing better now to make sure that you're mitigating those mistakes as a man? And I think I want you to speak from a man's perspective, because on my first episode, I speak about the mistake that my husband did as a man and the responsibilities that you carry as a man for your family. So can you then talk about you right now to say what have you done from that experience of knowing that your mom did not leave you anything? Now you have got your own family, you've got your own children, you've got your niece, your nephews. What is it that you have? What have you done better?
I think first, from where I came from, we fight for the stomach. They call it what? What for the stomach?
Yeah, I wonder what is that's fighting for the stomach.
So you can't plan while you're hungry. First, you must have food. Secondly, you must have shelter. You can't even think about life covers and insurance without that.
Yes.
But thank God, for me, I've passed that stage.
You know, you're using my husband's words anyway.
I've passed that stage, right? And because now I know better, the life covers and everything are there. But if you do not then teach your children about money, you'll die today, 6 months or 2 years. There is nothing. I think what I'm trying to do now is to stop being in control now. As parents or as husband, our role is not to father our wives. Is then
Oh wow.
yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, sometimes because of I grew up without a father. And
So you want to be a father everywhere.
you want to be a father and you don't want people to make their own mistake, and how are they going to learn?
Sure.
And when it comes to kids, because of when you didn't have an opportunity to be a child, you are trying to relive your own life through your kids.
Yeah.
And that brings depressions and so and so. So I think as a father now, I've decided to step back and be an advisor. You know, when you are called. So you sit back and say, this is the family, this is how it's run, and these are the principles and the values, which we are still working on them because of it's only start now. And then when they are starting to do whatever they do, you realize, oh, this one likes sports, this one likes... Then you start channeling them to...
and supporting them with
because,
that.
because from that age, as children, our aim is to play and learn. And while we are playing, we are learning. And I think my role now is to guide them to reach their full potential rather than forcing myself to them. And then I don't want my kids to grow up being depressed.
And hate you. Yeah, because Papa took away my childhood. Like I was never a child. There was never time for me to play.
Yes, and then he wanted us to be like him. And now they hate you because they don't like the person you are.
Sure.
And lastly, as a man, you must love yourself before you can love others. As a leader, take care of yourself because no one would. It's your position to be a leader, to lead the family. And no one is above you as in the family. Is you, then is God, and then your wife who manages and run everything, right? And she even knows better with your family and everything. So your role is to take care of yourself emotionally. Well, take care of yourself. Then you'll be able to take care of your wife because of she's taking care of your kids.
Oh, wow. I hope this one, our South African men can take note of that. But I just want to check in with you to say, do you think, is there any advice you would want to give to single parents or widows? I mean, right now I will say widows because as a widow now, I am a single parent. And that is one of the painful things to say it because I never believed that I was going to ever be a single parent. And a child is asked at school to say, do you stay with your mom when you're dead? And she says, I'm staying with your mom. Where's your dad? My dad is no longer there. And it could be a definition of he's no longer there because he chose not to be, or he's no longer there because God has taken him home. What would be the advice in terms of the financial security as a widow that you can do or you can make for your children so that you don't find yourself, because you must remember you are the only parent now left for this child. What is it that you can give?
Okay. Yeah, that one, especially women will fight with me, but I'm going to say it anyhow. So financially, money is numbers in the bank and papers.
Yes.
That one, sometimes there is value because we need it, but at the same time, it's not everything. Even though we need it, is everything. I don't know if I make sense.
No, I do. You do. For me, you do. I hope. I
think as a single parent, you must realize that you are not everything. We know women are mpokotos. You can be a father. You call yourself a father, a mother, and what. You are for yourself. You are fine. But kids don't want you to be everything. So as a mother, be a mother. And also, if you are raising a boy, find that one person within the community. They say child, it takes a village to raise a child.
100%.
And even to fathers who are within communities and uncles and brothers, they must then take responsibility because the father is no more. Then they must be in the child's life so that there will be a father figure. There will be somebody who can talk to the son while the mother can't, right? And then there will be somebody who can talk to the girl because of if a girl's growing up with a mother, she wants that father figure end up with wrong people. So I think if we as communities, we can start being involved. And as mothers, allow people to be involved, but the right people because we have crazy people out there. And I think that will be number one. Number two, they say a great man will be remembered by his name. So if the father created the name, start using that name. Start using connection. I'm not talking about the people that were waiting for him to go so that they can come, right? And as a mother,
how will I know, William?
You will see them. You will see them.
They'll be knocking at the door.
Energies don't lie. You can tell, right?
Yeah.
And I think as a mother, then focus being a mother. At the same time, find help if you have help. If not, I don't know, you must just, I think you must, because when you are there, you can start saying, hey, please come and speak to my child one in a while. And I'll make time for her because of I know.
Yo, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, and then financially, when I won't have problem with finance, and those who are not working, they must start selling something.
They must just sell.
Yeah, sell something.
Something must happen.
Yeah, sell food.
And I think right now, if you look at even in social media, everywhere else, there's just this buzzword, sell. Just sell something.
Sell.
And something that says, it is Faborot.
And we're not saying sell your body.
Sure.
Yeah, so sell
Magwinya. William, you're going deep.
No, that's true. Okay. That's true because of somebody say, I don't have anything, I'm beautiful and all men want that. It will fail. Right? So I'll say sell whatever you can buy or sell your hands. You know, this thing of asking without offering something is a problem, which I hate it. Why? Because I grew up being that child, so every man or every person who comes to the shop, you are asking for rent or 50 cents so that you can play machine. Sure. Because even if that money I have, or if I go to my mother, she will beat me and say, you must not ask people for money. And that is one of the things that sometimes when I go back to where I grew up, I normally go, you will find one person who still sees you with that and say, cold drink. Then I'll buy you 5 cold drinks so that you, and thank you of saying, thank you for raising me, but now I think I'm a man, I can do that. Awesome. So when you ask without providing something, the law of nature doesn't allow that. Yeah, so you look at the people who are on the street who's asking for money, they are not happy because of they are just receiving, but they are not giving back. So as much as you receive, you must give. And then I'm telling you, now, today, you have your own business, even if you don't afford to pay a person, right? If one person can come to you and say, can I come and work? For sure, they are going to eat, even if you're not paying them. Yeah. For sure, when you have money, you're going to give them 12.5. Therefore, there is no poverty. The thing is, we have tend to be lazy, and then we are entitled. Yeah, we are entitled.
Very much entitled, I think.
Yes, we are.
I mean, I'm going to put a disclaimer. I'm not a politician in any form, in any way. And obviously, whatever we are having here is just our own opinions. And I think it's important for us to make that disclaimer. But when you come to entitlement, it's something very big. currently to our youth people. They feel that the government is supposed to do things for them. Do you think is there something that is a different way of them of thinking? Because initially, when you spoke about how you think, your mindset. How can we help the young people think differently?
We must start acting differently, because so that means if you are a parent, who you are, what you are, will see it through from your children.
Sure.
Right? We as parents, we must fix ourselves.
Yeah.
The conversation we have, the things we do in front of kids,
Yeah.
and then our kids will find. And the youth are right when they say there is no opportunity. There is no opportunity because we have been taught to go to school and work, but we have not thought of say who's going to create that employment. It started with us. I'm going to school so that I can go and work.
Yeah.
All these universities, colleges are full to do what? To all be workers. Who's going to create employment? So for our youth, I'm saying they are different. If you start living amongst them, with them, you will realize that they are different. We are no longer beating them. They have their own mind. They are doing their own things. I think as parents or old people, actually, I'm in middle between youth. I just end up
You're right in the middle.
I just end up being youth. I started being a growth man nowadays.
Now recent,
but I still spend time with youth because of I learn everything that we knew. 2019 COVID, I see it as a reset, whereby you can do anything and everything.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
But older people are the ones who must go and learn from youth. At the same time, share experience. So what they are doing, they need experience in terms of how can they turn it to be a real thing. We need each other.
And you said earlier on, it starts with us. Interestingly, last year, in August, I won an award called "This Starts With Me" with the Financial Planning of Institute. And what it really means when it says it starts with me, it's basically an individual I'm a certified financial planner by profession, and I do quite a lot of consumer education. So it's a person who actually take honor of this designation called the CFP, which is a certified financial planner, and going and empower our people around financial literacy and so forth. So you'll hear more about it on the first episode if maybe you haven't watched it. What I'm trying to say is that I've won that title not just only from the insurance sector. For me, it's a title that I've won for my life experiences, because everything that I've experienced, it's all started with me. I was the first child at home to get a degree. I was the first child at home to move out. I was the first child at home to buy a car. All of those things. And the very sad part of it, as much as we don't want to talk about it, I was the first child as well to become a widow at the age that I'm in. And even now, the family does not even know how to support me, how to help me, because they were never there. They never experienced it. And I think that's why the space to breathe it was exactly that, because nobody was there to understand this journey and so forth. And I'm coming back to the point of the pain that you experienced when you lost your mom, and where you are going with this is, how does your future look like? As much as for me, I feel that you're still carrying that pain with you every single day of losing your mom. How do you find yourself going to the future, and what does the future look like? Because after all, I think it also starts with you in your family at this point in time.
Yeah, and that title of being the first of doing that, it comes with pain, and I don't like first. But the thing is, it depends on how you are using it. If you are saying you are the first, mainly if it's like encouraging yourself, please use it.
Yes.
Because of being firstborn, there's no one who's there to say you are doing well. Yeah, no. And sometimes we are too humble. I was reading a book, and then I've realized that what you tell yourself is normally true, right? So for me, and most of kids, if I grew up in a different environment, probably I'll be on a world stage Why? Because I've then realized, nagi genius.
Hey, all of
Yeah,
you.
like, serious. Because I have reason to prove. I can tell you.
Yeah,
You
you're
know,
a genius.
I am
but
a genius.
Take it, run
Yes.
with it.
Yes.
It's all yours.
And I must tell myself so that kids
Yeah.
who are growing in the same environment that I grew up, they can then realize that, man, there's something special about me. It's just that you must even tell your friends. I used to tell my friends in school, say,
Yeah.
take pictures with me.
Yes.
Because of one day. No, I did like literal. I'm
lied.
telling you, take pictures with me because one day you're going to tell people that you know me. And they'll say you are lying. And then you will say, okay, let me call him or let me make appointment.
So that you can see.
Probably I'm in a podcast. I can't take the call. Or probably I'll squeeze you in December because I'll be busy.
Because you're now an executive.
Right?
Hey, I had to bring that one in. I
don't know if I'm still. Now I have a new title. I told you I'm a genius. Now I'm a cost volume profit analyst. Cost volume profit analyst, like a person who looks into from insurance perspective rather than selling and being involved. Now you're at the back. You're looking at monies now.
Hey.
And then I realized, I'm going back to school.
Yeah.
So I've been a DJ.
Sure.
I've been a gambler.
Yo.
I've been sold stuff.
Yes.
I've started business of perfumes.
Yes.
I've sold stuff. I've
You
done
were
stuff.
selling?
Yes, I've started stuff.
To keep going.
I was that entrepreneur school. I've been singing. I was acting.
William, what are you singing? You're singing.
No.
I'm joking.
The Holy Spirit. Right. So that takes a special human being to be able to do those things. Sure. Is it who you are? Probably not. And then I've realized, now I have to speak, right, and give advices. That's what I'm best at. So at the end of the day, we are exposed to almost do everything. But because of the environment that we grew up doesn't channel us to the right direction. We don't have parents who identify the gifts and skills that we have so that we can reach our full potential.
Sure.
So I take it upon myself. So, now I've taken care of everyone. Now is my turn. What is it that makes me happy? What is it that I can do that I'll live a fulfilling life? Because sometimes I sit down and say, what happened to the last 20 years of my life? Sure. Because I've been existing without serving a purpose. So I then say, just try to know yourself despite where you are. And yeah, man. And do something. Whether you know who you are, what you like, what you don't like, start doing something. And this thing of saying, nah, I'm an artist, I'm only going to sing. You're going to sing and being an artist only, right? And then people will take advantage of you because you are hungry. Know what you are and start doing something. Do them both. Nowadays, you can do 3 things as a person, especially young people. Go to school, after school work, or on weekends work. On holidays, go and find work. Go cut somebody's green or grass and have your own man.
Yeah.
Because boys, women take advantage of them.
Yes.
Now, I don't know whether I was fortunate or not fortunate. This will get me in trouble with my wife, but I grew up in a tavern.
Wife, please.
So they
please
did. They took advantage. They took advantage sometimes.
Hey,
right. And I it's not like I didn't enjoy it, right? But imagine if I was a girl, what would have happened? Yes. People I grew up with, with them, it's like I'm an alien. But now I understand because of it was grace, right? And then I owe it to people to not to start living a lavish life without showing the reality. Yeah.
Sure. In closing, William, what kind of an advice can you give to, and I want you to give it to a widow, and I think I want to be specific on this because, as you know, it is really about the platform to encourage and empower widows to relive their or rediscover their purpose again, is to say, what is it that they can do, or what is it that they need to do to make sure that their children live the dream that they themselves have and not what they have?
They must do what you are doing. They must follow you. and I'll tell you what you are doing and what they must follow. When I started,
I was not expecting that answer, Mara William. Anyway.
no, they must do what you are doing. When I met you, it was in, I think the meeting was in the office. So it was in an office.
They don't know.
Yeah, okay, so you are a real, I think I respect your husband without meeting him.
Yeah.
So it was in an office. I think you were letting out office. Your professionalism, the way you conduct yourself, the way when a man approach, you already build the wall of saying no, right? And that's Nonhlanhla that I met. Even today, we learned the job. The husband is normal. Sorry, it's painful. I am so sorry. You have to heal. Yes, go counseling. Talk to people, but at the same time, stand up.
Yeah.
Give man. Talk about it. Go and see friends. Teach people. Just be busy. And at the same time, it's to say, when I say learn the job, I'll say, don't forget your mental state. They say the mind, there's difference between the mind and the brain. A brain, it's a muscle, right? Which if you don't exercise it shrink. And then the mind is spiritual, right? So most of the people will focus on the mind and forget the brain.
Sure.
You'll know stuff, do stuff in your mind and hallucinate and dream and go to Paris and come back, but you are here. But when you start also taking care of your mind and the brain, that gives an opportunity for thoughts, because of what you think about. Your thoughts produces how you feel, how you see yourself. It creates everything, images that for now, I think I'm going somewhere. It's only in my mind, whether and that's a creative platform. Everything else start in the mind. What we speak, they say, from your heart, speak at the man. So if you take care of the mind and guard it and protect it, then you will be fine. Everything we don't. So you are a widow. Maybe there is a reason. Life happens, but there will be light. There will be light at the end of the tunnel.
I would suggest that you listen to or you watch the first episode. You will understand my purpose. Thank you so much, William, really, for coming through. I really, really appreciate the time and having this conversation with you. And I just want to take this opportunity to say, widows, here's a gentleman telling us here today to say that we must take care of our minds. I know we are going through a lot. It is painful. It is heavy. Trust me, there are days where I don't want to wake up. Trust me, there are days where I don't want to take calls. Trust me, there are days where I don't want to go out in any form, in any way. I want to be in my little hole. But I always go back to recharge through my mind and my purpose to say, why did God put me here? And as I've shared before on the initial episode about my purpose, that's what keeps me going. And maybe just in summary, I always say that God has given me this journey so that I can continuously, because that's what I do. That's what I love. I love educating. I love empowering, and I love advising. So I've realized that He has put me into this journey so that I can continue and empower. Because with the TikTok clip that I did, it shows that so many women are going through a lot. And yet it's a matter of how do we take care of that group of women, because there's no community of widows. And I hope that they can take the opportunity to say, when I have those live sessions every Thursday, 8 p.m. on TikTok, yes.
Sorry for disturbing
Yes.
you. Widows, when your man died, there's people, they are going to come, wanna steal your house, your car. Please be careful.
We will be careful. So thank you so much, everyone. We really appreciate you, William, for coming through. And may God bless you. May God bless your journey. And may God bless every plan that you are about to do, as per our conversation that we had earlier on and last week. So thank you so much. I hope you have subscribed to our Space to Breathe on YouTube channel. Please, if you haven't, can you make sure that you do subscribe? And family, I would like to request you that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Space to Breathe. Like, comment. On your comment section, please send any questions, send any comments. especially on the questions. I love the questions because that's where it gives us an opportunity to address any questions or in any form, so that we can also bring in the experts that will be able to address your questions. And we'll also tackle some of the questions during our live session every Thursday, 8 p.m. on TikTok. And on TikTok, you can find me on Nonhlanhla, 8 p.m. live sessions. So please join us there. And if there's any other questions, please feel free to post them on our YouTube channel, A Space to Breathe. Thank you.